So I know, Cheyenne, your thing is not
I can run through it pretty quick.
okay. Let's go.
I can run through it. Run. All right. Actually, it's kind of depressing, so grab some Kleenex.
Well,
Okay.
it's all women here, so I don't know how depressing they're gonna find
I
it.
don't know, man. I was literally at work, and I actually like a couple times I had to take a break because I was like, this is sad. Like, it's actually depressing. So researching men's rights, and I know a lot of people are gonna roll their eyes when we say that, like, oh yeah, like men, but it's
Melissa's already doing it.
exactly okay. So there's such a favoritism towards women and
So
things
no,
like
so what is this about? You had you had a title to this, right?
I'm essentially the depletion of men's rights in our society.
Yeah.
So essentially in things like family court, when things like law, things like career choices, believe it or not, men are actually discriminated against a lot more than women. And for example, like, so studies have shown men often face more disadvantages, including harsher legal punishments, higher rates of suicide, homelessness, occupational deaths, imprisonment, and conscription, which is essentially involuntary military duty. They're told you're going to the army. We're not. But as of September 2023, that actually changed. There is no for conscription now for Canada.
That's here, but not the rest of the world.
Yeah, exactly. But
Like
so
in Russia, the draft that they did, they don't give a shit. You have no choice. Your name came up. You're going to the war.
oh,
In
and
Korea, you
FYI,
have to do it if you're
Yeah.
a boy.
Yeah.
I have all my on the back, and I will have them sent to you, my links for research. So
pick a few really good points in there. Like one of them that you talked about was family court. Let's. Do you have something on that?
yeah, actually I do.
So family court, we're talking about when a couple, common law or other, go through a divorce and they have a child.
Okay, so in Canada, 79.3% of kids under 12 live with their mom. Dad will only get sole custody 6.6% of the time.
It's insane.
So I guess the courts don't think dad jokes are good enough parenting.
So basically, the whole labeling of deadbeat dads, which started way back in like the early 1900s, because men were horrible, right? So women had no rights, so they just go around impregnating women, just leaving and going from town to town.
Which is weird, which is a catch-22 in society, right? But if a guy takes off work for their child, it's considered they're not committed to their job, but a female can. So what?
So why it's all female, sir. So why do you feel that in family court, women get 80% of custody? Anyone? Aside for Cheyenne. Amy?
Out of our freaking womb.
Okay. So because it came out of you, you feel that you're going to be better
That's
caretaker?
not my opinion. That's
No,
just
I'm talking
what
about your
think.
opinion. Your opinion. Why do you feel, as a woman, that it's justifiable that 80% of family court cases, the woman gets custody and opposed to the man?
In my opinion, I don't even agree with that.
So the emotional is one side of it, right?
Mhm.
So a child just doesn't only need an emotional connection with their parent. There's other areas, right? So a father is not just there. That if he isn't emotionally connected, then okay, he's a horrible parent, right? So a child needs rational thinking. They need role models as well too. They need to get their confidence as well. So I do agree that yes, a mother is going to be a lot more compassionate, have more patience with a child than a father would most likely, even in today's world. I've got two little girls and I try to be as patient with them as possible. And I believe that a woman would have a longer fuse than I do. But at the same time, I believe that society is just going to get completely destroyed if father figures are taken out.
Absolutely.
100%, because essentially they're taking away a role model from the child. Essentially, the father is losing his identity to that child. And it's more, and then it even leads into more than that. Okay, so this is even scarier. So a study shows that 73% of men who experienced female perpetrated violence reported that their partners threatened to make false allegations. 56% of these men had false allegations laid against them. And so it was things like that when they went to family court and they tried to get custody, well, there's a stigma behind. You had this episode. And what was terrifying was 71% of men were terrified to call the police because even though they were the victims, they were the ones being treated like the perpetrators. So why call if you're just going to be accused? So you're getting beat on by a girl. You know, it was reported that girls were most likely to throw, kick, bite, and scratch a guy, and women were more likely to suffer severe violence. Well, no wonder a guy is going to snap if you're throwing shit at him, biting him, kicking him. Any human being is going to suffer if somebody's, whether you're female or male, if you're throwing a shoe at me, if you're coming at me with that kind of, you're going to suffer severe violence by my hands.
I think you were going to make a comment about fathers.
Well, the reason is we like to all say, oh, I'm woke. Oh, the chimes have fucking changed. We've changed. We're so different now. We have a bunch of new letters added. We have different gender roles. Men are becoming feminine. Women are becoming masculine. Those core traditional values have not left politically. Look at how just we were talking about in the beginning. They have not left politically. That is not just a religion thing. That is a traditional value thing as well. And I think that that's the same thing with the double standard with fathers in court. It's a traditional thing. The traditional thing is for the man and to work and to provide and to be gone most of the time, and for the mother to be at home with her child. So they assume that the man, it'll be easier for the man to work and give the mom child support.
The man is only good for money.
Only good for working, and the mother will mother the child because that's the way it's been for the past 100, 200, 300, however many years it's been. When the reality is both parents are both capable of working and both are very capable of raising a child. My parents divorced when I was 14 and it sucked. And my brother stayed with my dad and I stayed with my mom because like geologically it was easier for us. My school was closer to where my mom's was, and my brother's school was closer to my dad's, and I wouldn't see my dad as much, and my brother wouldn't see my mom as much. But that worked. You know, my dad raised my brother during the teenage years, and my mom raised me during the teenage years, and that worked for us. So
I think that the problem with society
people
today,
should be allowed to do that. Like fathers should be allowed to raise their kids too.
I think society today, with the way that the governments have set things up, is that it's profitable to break your relationship where you get paid for that and the government makes sure of it. Whereas if they didn't do that, I think a lot more marriages would have survived. But in today's, the way the court system is, if a husband and wife have arguments, woman's, I'm not going to deal with this, they give up, she divorces him, he has to pay alimony, he has to pay child support, so it's easy on her. I'm not saying that all marriages are perfect, but when it comes to parental figures, I think that for girls, especially, girls get their confidence from their father, not their mother. Mothers teach their girls on how to be and how to love. Mothers teach their sons how to love. But a father is what gives a girl her confidence. If a girl has a very strong relationship with her father, a strong bond, nothing can stop her. Just super confidence. Because the one man that she grew up with from a young little child was always there for her and supported her and believed in her and gave her compassion and love and so on all the way through. So when she grows up, she's not just going to settle for some fucking Joe that comes along, because she knows what she's worth because of the fact of what her father loving her. She knows what a good man is as well too now. And she knows that she can accomplish a lot because she has built-in confidence. Today, a lot of girls, they don't have a father figure because the family was broken from a young age, or they got divorced, or they got divorced and lived in separate homes, and the kid only went there 48 days out of the year, every other weekend, right? So having, and even for a boy, not having a mother, that affects a boy. Because a mother teaches him how to love. And if he doesn't have that, he's going to have to learn the hard way, right? So families being broken up, all that's going to do is just destroy the moral fiber of society. So you have something to say on this, Yulia?
I agree with you, yeah. Father is very important for girls and for boys too, of course. But yeah, I know because my mother and father divorced when I was young. And I feel like I need this like man's energy in my life, but I really don't have. So I work on myself.
And then that also has a ripple effect, like we talked about, teens having babies, right? And how that has a ripple effect, a domino effect. So if a child grows up without a parent, like a girl grows up without a father, and when she has children, there's something lacking, right? So now her relationship, there's that hole that's there because the father wasn't there. So the male that she brings into her life, he has to not only fill the hole of being a partner of hers and a lover of hers, he has to overcompensate to also be a kind of a father for her because she lacks that as well too, right? So now when they have children together, that child is going to be a little bit deficient, right? So I just feel that with the way things are going, parents, they don't have that, high sort of value that they used to before.
Well, but even still, because it takes a 2-parent household, and like it's really sad because out of those 6.6% of men that actually do get custody, it's harder for them to keep custody, for them to maintain custody. And then it's harder for them to actually find single parent resources like
there's nothing
babysitting,
there. There's
childcare.
nothing there for them.
So for them, then it looks like they're an unfit parent because now they don't have the resources around them. Meanwhile, for a female parent, they're a dime a dozen. And so it actually comes back to then again a mental health issue as well, and a physical issue and a financial burden, because if a man doesn't have the money for a child advocacy lawyer, he doesn't have the money or he doesn't have the sanity to go through a court battle. He has no
know
choice.
how many support groups there are for women?
Honestly, I looked it up.
When it comes to like child benefit payments, right? Who do you think gets the child benefit payments? The mother.
It's 7-1
The father doesn't get it.
in
No.
He
Canada.
never will. It's so hard to get. So the mother gets it and she can keep it.
It's 7-1 in Canada.
So